Right now, at this exact moment, you are lying to yourself. I mean, you kind of have to, right? If you didn't, your mind would literally fracture under the heavy weight of your own truth. We all actively hide our darkest thoughts. Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're unpacking a massive psychological loophole known as the confession trap. And honestly, it's going to make you see your everyday conversations in a completely new light. Because think about it. What if someone could extract those hidden, locked away parts of your mind in just a single casual conversation? What if they could trick you into admitting your absolute deepest, most toxic traits without you even realizing you just handed over the keys? We usually think of mind games as something straight out of a spy movie, but master manipulators and elite criminal profilers, they use these extraction tactics every single day. They absolutely do not need truth serum. They just need you to feel comfortable. Okay, let's dive into this. To understand exactly how this trap is set, we first have to understand the highly valuable psychological cargo that these manipulators are actually trying to steal. The legendary psychologist Carl Jung called this concept the shadow. Basically, it's made up of the repressed, hidden, and, well, dark aspects of the human mind. It is literally everything you subconsciously push away. Think of your mind like a beautifully designed house. Your conscious self? That's the pristine living room. That's where you entertain your guests. It's clean, it's polite, highly curated, and totally socially acceptable. But the shadow? Well, that's the damp, locked basement. That is where you throw absolutely everything you are deeply ashamed of. It holds your hidden envies. It holds that petty, silent rage you feel when a close friend succeeds. It holds the manipulative traits you pretend you just don't possess. Society teaches us from day one to hide these things away, deep down in the dark. But here is the terrifying twist. The shadow cannot be destroyed. No way. It can only be repressed. And a super basic law of psychology is that the harder you push it down into that dark basement, the more desperate, aggressive, and wild it becomes to get out. It wants to be seen. It wants to be heard. And that intense, desperate need for release, that's exactly what a manipulator relies on to set their trap. So where does the execution of this trap actually happen? How do you actually get caught? Well, most people assume a psychological confession requires this cold, dark interrogation room with a blinding light shining in your face and all this intense pressure. But honestly, that's amateur hour. True psychological extraction relies on the absolute illusion of safety. It happens when you feel totally, completely secure and relaxed. It happens over a cup of coffee, or maybe a couple of drinks with someone who just seems incredibly understanding. The entire trap hinges on a psychological phenomenon known as mirrored vulnerability. This right here is the thief's lockpick. Imagine you're chatting with a really charismatic new friend, or maybe a romantic interest. Out of nowhere, they drop this casual, slightly embarrassing bark confession about themselves. They might laugh and say something like, "Honestly, sometimes I secretly hope my ex's new relationship fails miserably, just so I feel vindicated. It's terrible, I know." So, what just happened in your brain? Because they handed you a weapon by admitting a flaw, your brain's survival defense mechanisms just completely dropped. You feel safe lowering your own shield simply because your brain is hardwired to crave reciprocity. And this brilliantly illustrates the precise psychological domino effect of the trap. Step 1. The manipulator confesses a flaw, offering up a tiny piece of their shadow. Step 2. Your survival defenses drop because the environment suddenly feels balanced and totally non-judgmental. Step 3, your brain instantly says, "Oh wait, we're sharing dark things now? I have those too." And boom, before you know it, you spill a secret you swore you'd take to your grave. You just willingly handed over a piece of your own shadow because the conversational reciprocity demanded it. But it gets even crazier, because here is where the extraction gets incredibly subtle. Master extractors don't even need you to open your mouth and confess anything to read your shadow. Nope, they just sit back and watch how you criticize other people. This is called the projection loop, and it is the ultimate psychological mirror. It's a really sneaky way for someone to read the contents of your locked basement by simply observing what you point your finger at out in the real world. Let's actually do an interactive thought exercise together right now. I want you to answer this question in your head. What is the one specific trait in other people that absolutely disgusts you or infuriates you the most? Take a second and really lock in on it. Is it laziness? Arrogance? Is it dishonesty? Or maybe it's people who are constantly loudly seeking attention. Keep that specific trait tightly in your mind.
because I'm about to tell you why that exact disgust you're feeling is actually a direct, loud confession of your own hidden identity. Ready for the gut punch reveal? Here is a profound psychological truth. Your loudest criticisms of others are your most honest confessions. Here is exactly how the projection loop works. When you have a trait in your own shadow that you absolutely refuse to accept, you literally cannot stand seeing it out in the open world. If you secretly crave massive attention but force yourself to be completely humble and quiet all the time, you will absolutely detest anyone who is loudly arrogant. You aren't actually angry at them, you are furious at your own repressed desire. And by watching what you relentlessly criticize, a manipulator can map out the exact contents of your shadow.
So the crucial point is this. When someone successfully extracts your shadow, whether that's through the confession trap of mirrored vulnerability or by just observing your projection loop, they suddenly hold the master key to your entire behavioral system. They have completely bypassed that pristine living room and gained full, unrestricted access to the basement. And once a manipulator knows exactly what you are ashamed of, they know exactly how to control you. Let's look at the escalating consequences of handing over that master key. First, they find your guilt buttons. They know exactly which psychological triggers to press to make you feel instantly at fault. Second, they force your validation. They position themselves as literally the only person in the world who truly understands your dark side without judging you, which makes you desperately seek their approval. And finally, this leads to permanent emotional blackmail. This cascading effect is exactly how toxic, inescapable partners cage you. It's exactly how cult leaders recruit and maintain their followers. They extract your shadow, they validate it, they lock it in a cage, and they use it against you forever.
Now, genuine shadow work, that is supposed to be a deeply private healing journey. It's supposed to be you looking into the mirror yourself, acknowledging that locked basement, and integrating your dark side so you can become a whole, powerful, and totally unstoppable human being. But when you let someone else extract it without your conscious permission, you aren't doing shadow work. You are simply handing a manipulator the remote control to your mind.
So, I'm going to leave you with this final, really provocative challenge. Look closely at your very next conversation. When someone asks you to open up, when they share a dark flaw and casually invite you to do the same, look them in the eyes and ask yourself, are they building a genuine bridge of trust or are they setting a trap? If this explainer opened your eyes to the psychological games being played all around you, make sure you share it with someone who needs to see it. Stay sharp out there, watch those mirrors, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.